was playing on my record player. I'd been hearing it on the Jazz FM station out of Long Beach, KNOB, which had musicians like Mose Allison come in with cool voices over a jazz background saying, "This is Mose, here at the knob. That's the Jazz Knob, KNOB, Long Beach." I saved my $2.50 a week allowance until I had enough to buy the LP. I ordered it from the record hut. It cost $4.99. I was 13 years old. This was our home in Whittier. We'd moved there during the summer in 1959, just before I had to start ninth grade, at a new school, where I didn't know anyone. I hated my life. I'm sprawled on a small sofa, a love seat that folds out to make a narrow bed. The extra bedroom in our house serves as my den. I have a small television with rabbit ear antenna. The TV only displays in black and white. I used to hurry home after school so that I could watch one of my favorite shows, Amos and Andy. I thought of the room as my beatnik pad. I knew about beatniks because Life magazine had done a feature story, and that issue had a photograph of beatniks. A man with a beard, a chick dressed in black, a wood-burning stove. I also was fascinated by werewolves and vampires and had a couple of pictures taken from a magazine on my wall. I don't know which disturbed Mom and Dad the most, the werewolves or the beatniks. Mom and Dad were so square. At that time I hadn't yet read On the Road or Howl, but I had found Kerouac's The Dharma Bums in a store. This book was the reason I bought a Buddha statue, an incense, and a large white poster board. On that board I wrote out, using a thick black marker pen, the 8 spokes of the Noble Eightfold Path. Today, as an old man, I am still a Buddhist, and my desire to be a beatnik is extinguished. Thanks to Life magazine, I learned about tea, marijuana, an exotic word full of promise, and me at age 13, angry, wanting to be a beatnik, wanting to smoke pot and discover worlds immeasurably richer than anything my parents or my new stupid high school could offer. So far, at 13, jazz was the only open door. I'd put a lock on the door of my beatnik pad. Like any teenager, I wanted privacy, but the lock and hasp did not stay long on the door. Nothing arouses anxiety and suspicion like a teenage son or daughter behind a door that is closed and locked. My father, wiser than God, barges into my room, not bothering to knock, and he stands in the doorway, glancing from my sprawled form to the portable stereophonic record player and the album cover lying on the floor. Dad's come in during the Coltrane solo. The intensity is far beyond Dad's capacity to understand or appreciate. His music of choice is elevator music, like the Mantovani Orchestra, really stupid stuff that I hated. It was another reason to hate my dad, though that violence against the heart wasn't yet full force. He takes a step to the record player, sees the round knob that controls the volume, turns the jazz down to silence, and gestures to let me know that he wants to sit down. I make room, using the angles of my body to show him how much I dislike his unwanted intrusion, and he sits beside me, sinking the seat with his greater weight so that I have to hold onto the arm of the little sofa and adjust myself so I don't fall against him. He doesn't look happy. He's probably going to get on me because I didn't mow the lawn over the weekend. Or he's going to tell me that your mother has noticed how much time I've been spending in the bathroom. They don't know that I've been jacking off compulsively, but Mom had indelicately questioned my frequent visits to the only room in the house where I can lock the door and seal my privacy. Or maybe he somehow found out about the vandalism I've been doing lately. Son, I don't really know how to say this. I don't want to give you a lecture. Then don't. He glances at me, ignoring my snotty tone, and takes a breath. "You're in for a rough ride." He's got my attention. There's nothing in his face or attitude that hints at a joke. I've never seen him so serious. "What do you mean, Dad?" "I mean that you're going to hurt yourself. You're a time bomb." "What?" "Most of your life as a grown-up is going to be miserable. There's nothing that any of us can do to change things. It's just how it is." "Dad," now I'm scared. "What do you mean? Why are you saying this to me? What do you mean, hurt myself?" The two words, "hurt myself," are the two edges of a dagger, and they cut into his heart. His eyes shut tight, synchronizing with the narrowing of his lips, the downturn of the corners of his mouth. He shakes his head, then removes his glasses, uses the thumb and index finger of his left hand to massage sudden pain out of his eyes. "Dad!" I feel tears running down my cheeks, snot starting to pour out my nose. "Dad!" He shakes his head, puts his glasses back on. He's in control again. "I'm sorry, son. I wish there was something we could do, your mother and me, to help you, but—" Another shake of his head, slow, resigned. "Sorry." He reaches over and gives me a pat on my knee. Just then my mother is at the door. "You told him," she says, not a question, but a simple statement of fact, no different than if she'd said, "He'll get a driver's license," or "He'll spend a lot of time wishing he was dead." "I told him," Dad replies. My crying intensifies. He gives my knee another pat, stands up and waits for a moment, then says, "Son." There's such tenderness in his voice that I am reduced to a little boy, scared and alone. I look at him, hoping he'll tell me that he's only been joking, that he's stupid and I shouldn't pay attention to anything he says. But my eyes are filled with tears, and it's just a large, bright blur. He speaks. "Keep in touch." Dad leaves the room, walking past my mother, who quickly follows him. As they make their way down the hall, I hear their voices fading into the elevator music from the stereo in the living room, and then I fall sideways onto the small sofa, my cheek pressing into the naga hide and the leftover warmth of my father's sitting. As I curl up tighter and tighter in my makeshift beatnik pad, my grief becomes as full-blown an expression as a phrase by Coltrane, playing out in a key between boyhood and mature despair.